Yo, we're back with another episode of Walkie Talkie in Los Angeles. We got the homie Daniel with us today. Daniel, say what's up.
What up, man? Daniel Mateo Gutierrez. I'm out here from Los Angeles. I do landscape photography, street photography, and just photography in general, and that's it.
You born and raised Los Angeles?
Born and raised in Los Angeles, grew up in Mid-City to be more specifically, and I've been photographing for the past 7 years, all over pretty much. First 3 years, street photography. Then the next 4 years after that, maybe counting this year, the landscape and a mix of everything else.
Let's get walking.
Let's get walking.
So when you're walking around like this, what makes you want to take a photo?
I think it's mainly just as long as I'm in front of it, because there's this thing what I do where if I kind of just look at whatever my subject is in my viewfinder for too long, I kind of start to hate it, or I start to think about it too much. I do like to take the photos usually as soon as I see it, just like street photography. But when I see these landscapes, I kind of wait for, I guess, the sun and the light and just whatever texture comes up in front of me, just like in street photography, which is how a person would kind of layer around, how the background will layer around everything. Same thing I do with the landscapes. So I guess it's still in the essence of street photography for me, especially since I did start with street photography, but now we're doing all these landscapes now. A lot of the shit I do is just part was just laziness too. Like it'll be days where I'll just walk out with just the Fuji and that's it. Maybe the camera and maybe the flash in my back pocket, or when I had like the small, like compact contacts looking flash, I would just walk out with my camera, grab my wallet, go home, go out somewhere and just walk. Batteries in my back pocket and that's it. But now I mean I carry a lot more just because I'm interested in it a lot more. God damn. This shit's been here since I was a kid. Since every time I would walk with my mom to catch the bus, something around here, this thing's always been here. I don't know how long it's been here in total, but it's always been here. Here's the shit I love about the city. We got a homeless tent and we got a big ass house in the back. So now we're going down Wilton. And this is basically us walking into Koreatown, basically.
What's your typical day look like? If you have a full day to yourself to photograph, what do you usually do?
So full day to photograph, I kind of sometimes decide of how many cameras I want to bring along. Like today I did bring my main one, the Fuji with the 18. And then I brought along with me a Polaroid Instax. So today would be mainly landscape work and then like little color Polaroids here and there of whatever I find. But after I decided what to do in the morning, then I just kind of pick a direction, walk that way. Or if there's an event, then I kind of like make my day surrounded around that event. So if there's a protest, let's say protest at 12, I start my shooting days around like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. sometimes. You know, I'll walk a certain direction, maybe headed towards a protest, say it's at City Hall. I'll make my way towards downtown, but I'll make my way towards downtown just 3 times longer just so I could shoot along the way. And then by the time I get to the protest, I'm shooting whatever's, there. And then after that's done, go home or shoot again, depending on what the day's like. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do in the day. Just literally just photography, dude, that's it. But I do like to walk around like little areas that I've never really like peeped at, or they just seem a little too far. Sometimes I've decided to go there instead. Oh shit. There it goes. Shit. One more.
What makes you pull the flash out? Like there, you just pull the flash out?
So I'll pull the flash out usually when if the sun isn't touching anything, or if the sun just isn't on the frame I want, or just more of just to kind of bring out the main subject out of the shadows or anything, or just simply just to fill in with the flash. Because I will use it sometimes during the day, full sun out, just to kind of fill in like the tiny bits of shadows in there. But I just use it just to bring out the detail and flatten out my image, because when I edit my photos, I kind of don't like harsh contrast in it, or I just keep in mind that I kind of want to edit in the sense where I want to bring out the detail later, but I also don't shoot with edits in mind. It's just more of a, all right, when I finalize the images, I will bring out detail later, but that's until later. Right now I'm just shooting. The editing's later. There's always time for editing, there's always time for shooting.
What made you get into shooting more of these urban landscapes?
Well, it kind of started like being bored of street photography in the sense where I wasn't seeing enough people out to really do what I really wanted to do, or kind of like step it up, because there was no step. It was just, you know, pandemic hit, nobody out, everybody was bored, everybody kind of did the same shit, nothing going on. So I just figured, man, so just fucking touch the places of LA I've never really touched, because I was always shooting either Hollywood, Santa Monica, or downtown on the weekend. Because same thing, I have a day job, so Monday to Friday, I'm not shooting unless it's after work. Why not touch the areas that I've never touched before? And what's it called, make a body of work out of it, or just keep walking it, or just simply reduce it down to just to be walking Los Angeles with a camera. I don't know, but it was mainly out of boredom and just something to shoot, just something to shoot for, or just to change it up, because I don't think I would have been able to stay in street photography or just doing street photos all fucking day, or for at least the rest of my photographic life or something. And also just to kind of like, also I kind of see photography kind of like a fucking RPG game, if that makes sense. You know, you get your stats up in this area, but you also want to get your stats up in this area, or else you to become like a better video game character it is. But that's how I see it, you know, the street, or at least feel like you're, you know, good enough, or you feel like you build up some sort of skill, or you have some sort of a knowledge of what you're doing. You know, you kind of back up your work, talk about it well, could shoot with people or no people, could shoot with a distraction or no distraction. I mean, we all have our different ways to shoot, but with the landscapes, it was just out of boredom. I just had to get out of my house. Every time I stay in my house and I'm not photographing, I don't get depressed, but I feel like I'm wasting my day now if I'm not photographing anywhere else, or at least something throughout the day. When you walk, you slow down there. You slow down your vision, how you see everything. When you're driving, you just drive past everything, but you don't see any detail. Even with the bike, you go bike down the street, you will see it slower than a car, but you're still riding by the smaller details. And when you walk, that's the slowest way to fucking see everything. Slow it down. You know, you could reposition yourself. You could come back literally any day you want. All you gotta do is just find where the fuck you stood at and stand there again, and that's it.
What do you do with the Polaroids?
Throw them in the box like the rest of this shit I have. That's all it is. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I've shot so much of it where it's just in a fucking box. Same thing when I shot the negatives, like the 35 mil. Those shits are in a bag, in a box. They're developed, just haven't seen them yet. I don't really plan to anytime soon. Not even letting them marinate at this point. I'm just kind of done with looking at that shit. But I also get bored whenever I keep going through the work. I feel like I repeat seeing like the shit I've seen once for an instant, and then I guess having to see that same fucking photo over and over and over again just to see if it works or not. Thinking that if it works or not makes me think that it doesn't work, just because I just keep fucking looking at it. So one thing that I do like to take away from the landscape work, it's try to take away the cars, or try to frame them in a way where I don't have a car in a shot. I feel like they don't take away from the work, but I feel like sometimes it's like there's very certain cars where it doesn't fit the photo. I'm not even saying like a classic car, but I'm just saying there's certain cars that their shape they are doesn't fit the photo, where it just looks too modern, or like the area looks too old when there's just like a fucking random, let's say Tesla or some shit in there. It's just like, it just throws it off for me. I don't think I got it. For example, this area. Like this area with all these sort of cars they have here, like it fits my photo, but it's like if I have that fucking red Mustang in it, for some reason it throws it off for me, or I feel like it just wouldn't work. It's such a small element, but it's those little elements that I feel like are the details that I look out for. It's like, I think everybody's had a street photo where like they see the background and they notice this one ugly piece of shit, and it's just like, I hate this shit. Or that one detail just kind of keeps coming at you, or it just keeps getting your attention back. That's how I see cars in landscape photos, or certain cars.
What about in terms of inspiration for urban landscapes like this?
Urban landscapes, well, in terms of the landscape, number one, fucking Freelander. Nobody else. Fucking Freelander. Second in line, it's got to be Henry Wessel. Third in line. Fuck, I don't know. But those two guys have definitely been like top guys for this work. Lee Freelander specifically, I love fucking Freelander. I own so many of his books. And it's not just the landscape work for him neither that really like pulls me into his work, but it's more of everything. Like I love the portrait stuff he does. I love the pictures he has of like the ones he has of like all the kids and stuff, of the party stuff. I really like that new book, Real Estate. I do like how he kind of makes books like by like subjects, and then the street one, which I don't have, but all I'm gonna say is that if you plan to get a Freelander book, you gotta get the Momo one. The Momo one is the one I fucking study that shit back and forth, fucking start from the back to the front to the back, whatever. It has everything you got in photography. It has street work, it has portrait work, it has landscape shit, and if you've seen a Freelander landscape, you know your fucking brain's gonna melt, because I don't know how he does it. I still don't know how he does it.
What makes it like kind of light you
It's
up?
just me going one big ass what the fuck when I look at it. For me, it's just one big ass what the fuck when I look at shit that I like. And also, I like a lot of shit because I also like listening to a lot of different music when I shoot. I wouldn't say the music changes the pace of it, but definitely like if I see like some Freelander in the morning, I'm definitely gonna have some sort of like little Freelander shit stuck in my head, or I'll feel like, oh, this has Freelander on it. I'll take a photo of it, blah blah blah. But sometimes in the morning, when I flip through photo books, all that shit kind of like sticks to me throughout the day, and I'm always like happy to see if he pulls out any books, because it's new stuff, it's new work, or it's just new education that you could get. It's kind of just like when schools get like a new math book. If there's something new in there, you're gonna learn something new in it. But you know, new photo books, new shit to learn from, new education, and I mean, shit.
What's the last thing you learned from a Freelander book?
Fucking Freelander book. What? One thing that I always go back to is his framing. It's what he puts in the frame, or I try to understand where he stands or how he stands in order to get the shit he does, because a lot of this shit is just like, it's just street work. It's like if you know how to layer people in your photos, layer textures in, lines, or line up shit, or fences, or just anything. But I look at a lot of the light. That's what I mentioned earlier. I wait until there's like a lot of sun, or I bring out the flash, because I want like textures everywhere. Also kind of like almost like a study of light even.
Earlier you mentioned Henry Wessel. What about his work does it for you?
Think about it. Henry Wessel, it was more of it about his light, but also about how he photographs the mundane. And I guess that was more of a challenge for me, because with street photography, you go out in mind, oh, I'm gonna take photos of people. How exactly you photograph those people? You never knew how to, well, I never knew how to fucking photograph the people, but I did it. Figure out along the way. I mean, I don't know if any of that shit is even fucking good anymore, but what's it called? For him, it was more of the challenge of how the fuck can I photograph something every day of everyday shit. I don't know. I guess the landscape work also falls into like self-discovery, or even like discovering where I live. I mean, I've been living here for 24 years, and I still feel like I haven't seen like a percent of LA, or of anything that I walk through. I feel like I still don't quite understand it, which is perfectly fine in my opinion. That's one thing that I also goes in hand with when I kind of like critique my own photos or other people's photos. There's some questions. If I keep getting questions and questions over the photo I'm looking at, it's not that in the sense that it's a good photo, but it's a photo that I like. There's a dog at the window. It's a photo that I like, or it's kind of like a movie that just keeps getting good and good, and you're just fucking intrigued sitting there, staring at the fucking screen. That's what I like. It's like if I'm looking at shit like that, which is like, oh, what could it be? I don't know, man. There's shit everywhere. You know, it makes sense now or it makes sense later, but I like to just shoot first and ask questions later. I don't like asking shit now. There's no need to. I don't need to find answers. I guess also that's what keeps you curious. You know, the amount of questions you have, maybe looking for answers, but I feel like I kind of develop more questions than I do answers.
What are some of those questions that you're asking yourself right now?
But right now, I mean, I'm still even asking myself, like, where should we end even? Or if I should walk on the other block, or if I should walk, or we should cross Western, or I don't know. That's what I question. That's what I question a lot. Or like if this fucking bed, if I make a photo of this bed, will it be any good? But sometimes just take it. Take it and then ask the fucking question later. Will it work? I don't know. I used to like to let my shit marinate. I still do, even with digital. It's funny because I've had people like ask me like, oh, now that you're on digital, like, do you dump your cards right away? No, I don't. Like at the moment, I have like a little baggie of like maybe like 12 or 11 SD cards of like 128 gigs from like the past year up until now. So I'm sitting on like maybe like 28,000 photos from like the last year or so, or even more, I think.
You ever worried the backlog's gonna get too much?
I think it should hit too much because there's time to shoot the work, there's times to view the work, and there's times to edit the work, sequence it, and then there's times to do that. But nah, I don't really worry about it too much. There's always a time for it, and there's always a time where you do have to sit down. I mean, I've heard people say, oh, I don't feel good, and that's the time I go sit down. But this is where it is. Remember how you asked me earlier when I put out the flash? Well, this is one of them. There's too much shadows on this shit. It works alone without the flash, but when I flash it, it's gonna bring out the detail in the whatever this shit is, and the background still has a shadow, which is what I'm looking for. Also, one purchase work that I love with the flash, and that actually got me using flash a lot more, was Lars Turnbjörk. He's a Swedish photographer that he mainly shot on a Mia 7 with a big ass fucking flash and color film, and his fucking work's amazing. But I wish that guy's work blew up a lot more than it did, or at least a lot more people knew about him, because he's fucking important, or at least to me. Good.
How long ago did you switch to digital, and do you think making that switch allowed you for more exploration into these other areas of photography?
Before Daniel answers this question, if you're looking to go the other way, from digital to film photography, you can easily make that jump by finding film photography courses from the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. Skillshare offers easy to understand classes like this one from fellow YouTuber Kyle McDougall. In this course, Mr. Kyle McDougall goes step by step from the very first step of choosing the right camera for you. And even if you're not looking to learn more about film photography, there's thousands of classes on Skillshare. Me, myself, I'm trying to level up my video editing skills. Luckily for video editing, Skillshare offers learning paths, which are curated sequential class collections that'll help me master the art of video editing. This learning path walks me through the basics, like setting up a timeline, all the way through coloring, graphics, and editing theory. I know a lot of photographers are also getting to the video because of the landscape we're in, and joining Skillshare and completing one of these learning paths will be extremely helpful in putting you on the right path to creating videos the way you want to. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and way more. Skillshare can help you take your career, your skills, your hobbies, your passions, or side hustles to the next level. So here's your opportunity to join the Skillshare community. The first 500 people to use the link in the description of this video will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare Premium. You've got nothing to lose. Join now and level up your skills. Okay, let's get back to the video. Let's hear what Daniel has to say about switching from film to digital.
I switched to digital mainly because when I had the M6, my Elmer, it fucking went it went lens first. Basically, there was this part in the lens that holds the front element that was like loose. I couldn't tighten it, and it was gonna cost me like $1,000 to repair. And I was just kind of just like, I need a job. I'm broke. I'm running out of money. So I just scrapped all the film shit, went digital, found a guy in Hawthorne that had a X Pro 3 for sale. I think it came with like a 23 mil, it was like a 35 mil equivalent, and that's it. That's where I answer the second part. If it lets me be like more, if it gives me more opportunities for more creative, yes, I got past, oh, I'm shooting on film, kind of have to make it count. Also, it's like, I mentioned earlier how I could actually see what I'm photographing. Well, since I switched to Fuji, I have an EVF. So in my EVF, I could see the exposure, I could see what it is, and also I could switch the EVF to black and white. So unlike the Leica, the Leica, you're technically seeing the viewfinder in your world in color 100% of the time, because there's no screen in there. It's just fucking glass. And now that I'm actually able to see what I'm looking at in black and white, I actually have more thought in what I'm shooting in, because I could see what it is before it hits my computer, or before it hits the time where I actually need to go through the work eventually.
What photo books for you are like the Bible, where like they've had like a really good, really big impact on your photography and how you kind of go about it?
So I think in general, one Bible that I think anybody should have, or at least view, it's Freelander's MoMA book by Peter, what's his name? Gillespie. That big ass yellow book, get that shit. That's like one definitely like once you could definitely like learn out of. You could definitely flip through it and learn something out of in any sort of way. Because the book contains like 60 years of his photography, dude. You know, I mean, I've only been doing it for 7 years, and so far I've only done street photography and landscape. But when you see some fool that's been doing it for 60 years, he has fucking little TVs, he has all the landscape shit from the mountains, shit from the deserts, his travels. And it's kind of just like, that's what I want to do. I want to do everything and shoot photos of everything and everywhere. I think that's what I get out of Freelander the most. He's able to shoot photos everywhere and of everything. That's being talented, I think. Talented, or at least just fucking genius. I go through, I wouldn't say I go through phases, but I go through like weeks where I kind of just get stuck on something. Like if it's like a song, if it's an album, I have it on repeat. So like right now, this week, in terms of right now, I think I had, I can't pronounce his last name, but his name is it's either David Friend or David like Froome. This 4 collection book of gas stops he photographed. He was photographing nothing but gas stations for a few years all over America. And the book is separated in 4 books of like north, south, west, east. It's really interesting. Could you see the change of the environment, the change of light, the change of how even like their gas stations are designed. And you just see the different types of people that he slips into the photographs, and it's just like, all right, that's all of America. All right, just imagine one city you're in, how it could be divided from here, and how it could all change and come together depending on how you show it.
Can you talk about the LA photography community as a whole? Your experience with it and like how it's changed since you first started?
So I feel like there might not be a whole lot of a community. And it's very separate here. There's no groups, there's nothing like that. But I have a group of friends that I hang out here. A friend and I started, his name is Jet Lara. Him and I started doing like large format prints at the public library in downtown LA. They do it for free, and you only get like 1 per week. And I've been doing like a 36 by 24 photograph every week for the past like 2 months, I think. With him, we've been trying to get like a few people come back around, and mainly him, because he kind of likes to talk to like other photographers and stuff. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of a community here. In terms of street photography, I mean, I've only know what's Adelaide, what's it called, my friend Justin Yoon, my homie Rob, everybody knows Rob, Brian. I met a bunch of other guys, but it's just been throughout the years. Nothing where like I see them every week, or I see them like every now and then. It's at this point it's more of like we see each other what we do, because like so far into photography we're already doing like all the different shit where it's not like we've all gone our separate ways, but we're all just doing different shit. Like we all can't be doing the same thing, and that's what I talked to him about. Like we also can't be doing the same shit, which is okay. I guess it kind of makes people kind of go in their own bubble, or kind of just let them focus a bit more on what they're doing. Because it's just, there's that war. There's no worry of like, oh shit, the community. It's okay. I think it's okay. But at the end of the day, just the work. You know whose work I also really enjoy looking at? I forgot to mention earlier. His name is Philip Perkins, and there's this very specific book of his called The Sadness of Men. That book pretty much has street photo and landscape work all in one. There's just something about that book that it just keeps you flipping through it. You end it, you go back to the first page, you keep flipping through it. And I was using that book also a lot when I was making the little booklet I made kind of recent. Like, that was the book I was stuck on. That was the book that I was kind of just like sucking as much information as I can out of, reading this shit all over and over again.
What about LA photographers? What bodies of work that are specific to LA do you think more people should know about?
So I think anything from like Robert Adams. Robert Adams made a fuck ton of landscape work here in Los Angeles. You know, anything Wintergrand made in LA, I think it's important to see because there is a different look that he had in terms of when he shot LA and then when he shot New York. Because also he shot it in two different time periods of his life too. Anthony Hernandez, there you go, that's his fucking name. He has a photo book out through Mac from his work in Beverly Hills. I think back like in the 80s or some shit. He was just shooting street work in Beverly Hills. He has work of like out by like the LA River. I think he was photographing like the objects that homeless people had or like objects they'll leave behind or something like that.
What about you? What's your vision with your work or goals that you may have?
It's to stick with the, you know, shoot the photos first and ask questions later. But also, I think it's more of just self-discovery and just discovery of what else I could find. Or is it truly possible to be someone that could go anywhere, any place, any camera, and just photograph? That's my goal. But in terms of the work, I mean, shit, I think the work could just end up anywhere. If it lives in boxes in my room, that's fine. If it lives on Instagram, that's fine. If it goes to galleries, cool. If I make books out of it, if I make 1, 2, 10,000, I don't care, cool. I think for me, as long as I'm actually physically able to actually make the work, that's all that matters to me, to still be able to go out, physically be able to go out. Because I've said it, I think, to my family, I'm just like, you know, the day that comes where I just can't photograph is the day where I physically can't move, or yeah, that's the only thing that could stop me from it at this point. Because without photography, I'm just bored. Without photography, I'm just some person that probably just lays around all day, never sees grass or some shit. There's also the one thing I like about walking these neighborhoods. You have more freedom of where you can walk at. You can walk on the sidewalk, and I mean off the sidewalk on the other side of the street. You don't have to really worry about shit in your way, people in your way, or really bothering anybody. Because I don't think people really come out of their house to look out the window anymore or like hang out outside anymore. Which I think is sad because I actually did pick up recently the Sage Sawyer book. Yeah. The new one through an Israeli, where it was just like, there's a bunch of like street photographs of people pretty much hanging out outside like in the 80s, I think. And I think she did all that work when she was just like very young, like barely starting out as a photographer. And somehow someone that's barely starting as a photographer or like in doing assignments just were fucking amazing. And there's just one photo that I think might be a perfect photo. It was a photo of a guy with just his head at the very bottom of the frame. There's like a fucking string on top of him. It looks like a landscape photo at first, but as soon as you look at the bottom of the frame, you just see a guy and you're just like, oh shit, it's a street photo. But if you forget the guy and you keep go up more, it's a landscape photo. For me, it's a photo of the best of both worlds, landscape and street photo. Perfect photo? I don't know, but I fucking stayed on that page for a good minute when I got it.
How did you get into black and white? Like, I guess when you were doing film or shooting film, you were only shooting black and white film, but now moving to digital, you're still only editing in black and white.
I'm lazy. I'm just simply fucking lazy to stay home and edit, dude. I'm like sitting there tweaking shit, sliding bars. I just hate doing all that shit. I just like the shooting part. I love the simple fact of just that. That's just what I like the most, I think. That's what I take more joy out of than anything else. But to get back to like the black and white question, it's also laziness and also, oh shit. I just found it a lot more like freeing. Like it feels a bit more free to shoot in black and white than it does in color. Because I feel like the black and white kind of strips down the color. So you strip down one layer of an extra layer to worry about in your photograph. Because you know how there's some photographs where, you know, they're about the color. And there's some photographs where they're just simply shot in color. Does it need to make sense in color? Maybe not, but it just depends who you're asking. Because like also earlier you mentioned influences. Stephen Short, for example, is a perfect example of color. Also, Eggleston's a perfect example of color. I fucking look at their work all the time. Stephen Short specifically, because he's one guy that I look at, not to get influence of what I could shoot in color with landscape, but to kind of get the idea of like, all right, what was it that he was seeing? in color. Because I mean, if you have if anybody has his books, Uncommon Places work, it's I think it's all 4x5. And you know, for someone to be shooting 4x5 at that time, fucking expensive, very hard process, very hard to carry. I mean, I'd imagine those cameras were a whole lot like heavier then, or at least just a lot more like complicated to use at the time. Because, well, now we got digital cameras that just shoot color all the time, no matter what. And it doesn't take too much effort to really just press a fucking button anymore. But it takes effort to at least make something that makes sense to you or maybe to somebody else, which always feels nice. Also now with digital, I could kind of edit a black and white file a whole lot more than I was able to with negatives. Because I was pushing my film to mainly get certain settings for street photos, mainly set f8 to f16. I was adding contrast to my film, you know, with that in mind, and knowing that, you know, to keep shooting at 800, I'm gonna always get this contrast. But now with digital, since I have the freedom to pretty much do whatever I want, I do take the advantage of it and kind of push out like shadow detail or fuck with the highlights, fuck with the contrast of their photos. I mean, I know everybody's done it where they grab the contrast, go do some Dido shit, just kind of see what it is. Come on, Joe. Fucking with you. Also, one guy that I forgot to mention that I looked through his work a lot, actually online and through books. It's Mark Steinmetz. I love Mark Steinmetz's work. Came out with a book through an Israeli of his France work. I think from like 1987 or some shit like that. It's good. I like it. And I love his work. Sadly, I don't own the Angel City West work, which is like contains Los Angeles work, because the Los Angeles work's fucking good. Man, he's got like maybe like a few photos from that shit in there. It's really good. Oh, it's raining.
Finish the sentence. I take photos because.
I take photos because I can, I want to. It's entertaining. And it gives you more questions than answers, which to me personally, it's a lot better, because I think it makes me kind of want to jump into more rabbit holes. Jump into a rabbit hole of like, all right, what can I produce? What else can I do? What else can I spend my time with? If I could spend my time making photos forever, however way possible, I take it. I would. And I think you gotta have fun with it and also enjoy the little things about it. So, yeah, that's why I take photos.
All right, that's gonna do it for this episode of Walkie Talkie. Daniel, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Of course, Paul, no problem.
Let the people know where they can show you some love.
All right, man. Well, I mean, I'm just mainly on Instagram. At the moment right now, no website, no nothing else, no store. Just want to say shout out to my mom. Thanks to my family. Thank you to Robert. Thank you to Justin. Thank you to Brian. Thank you to all the other LA photographers I've met along the way. Yeah, shout out to everybody, dude. All the homies know who they are. And I love them, I appreciate them. Love my family, love everybody. Take care of each other. Peace.
Now when they see us in the streets, all they wanna do is take pics, and I'm like, okay.